and I think that's a trait that Elon also took up throughout his career arc, which we'll get into, but
absolutely.
I think is pretty clear in that he studied a lot of entrepreneurs like we're doing right now. In fact, the Founders podcast that played an influence in the way that we're approaching this right now was influenced by Elon Musk, because in one of the early episodes he did a deep dive on Elon Musk, and he was like, oh, Elon learned a lot by finding mentors in the history books, like Ben Franklin, who's somebody that we covered, and a lot of different founders that came before him.
I feel like founders and military personnel were like the two.
He says that he was like, I was made for war.
Right.
Yeah. So kind of growing up a little bit with Elon, he ended up moving to Canada.
Yes, but not just to be in Canada.
It was his through line to get to America.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that do that. I've been told that it's easier to do it that way. I'm not sure.
No comment. But in looking at that though, his mother had Canadian citizenship.
Yep.
And so the segue was pretty easy. And then when he moved over there, he was like, I'm not coming back. I'm staying over here. I think he went to Queen's University, which is a great institution. And then he transferred to UPenn in America, where he graduated with a degree in economics and physics, I believe.
Dual degree,
Yep. And then where are we at there?
He was trying to get his PhD. So he went on to pursue his PhD, ended up dropping out within like 2 days to start the first company with his brother.
Zip2.
Which was Zip2.
Zip2.
And Zip2 was, I don't know, for me, it was a huge success. Like reading that story and just like learning about Zip2. Zip2 was a city travel guide where people would digitize the information in newspapers and in the city around them. And they were able to get really big contracts with major publications. Like I think one of them was the New York Times.
And then they had another one with, but I think the thing that's really interesting there is like how they were able to like kind of just get started and take advantage of the early internet. This was in 95.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. And so they actually ended up growing quite rapidly to the point where they sold it a couple of years later for a lot of money.
Yes.
I think it sold to Compaq or something like that was the company name. And this was in like that boom of the early internet for like 300 million. I think Musk netted around 20 something million from that. And that was the first sale. He used that to then start other ventures.
Oh, so here's the thing though. Yeah. Compaq acquired Zip2 for 307 million.
Yep.
That is the equivalent of 580 million in today's day.
Which, to me, largely a success.
Yeah.
If you could, in what, 3 or 4 years,
sell
a company for $500 million in today's money, that's a success.
Yeah, and his equivalent was a 7% share. He had 42 million takeaway.
Okay, gotcha.
And then he used that to go and start X.com, and that leads into his whole PayPal arc.
Yes, it does. And obviously the stuff that came after PayPal, but X was first. I believe he got kicked out of X, right?
Yeah, so he was so he started X.com, which was an electronic payments company. And they did that through email, and it was very competitive with another company, I believe, called Confinity, and that was led by Peter Thiel and the rest of the PayPal mafia. The David Sachs, I don't know how early he got in there.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But nonetheless, they ended up basically merging together to avoid the competition and create a monopoly. We already know that Peter Thiel is an advocate for monopolies.
Yes.
And has the whole blue ocean strategy approach. But they ended up merging. Elon Musk became the CEO, and he was the largest shareholder. And then they had disagreements between each other, Musk and Elon. Musk was more favored with
Musk and
Elon. Musk and Thiel. Musk favored Microsoft Technologies. Thiel favored Unix, and I think that's like what they say, but it's like I'm sure that there was more friction there. And eventually they led a coup against Elon Musk and said,
ousting him from his own company.
They said, we don't want to play with you anymore. Like, we want you to leave, okay? And they put Peter Thiel as the CEO. Peter Thiel then focused on the PayPal service, renamed the company to PayPal, and PayPal became what it was. Yeah. It's funny, Elon says to this day, he was like, if they would have left me there, it would have been $1 trillion company by now.
Yeah, and I think it's something else to note there is that Elon didn't go full scorched earth.
Yeah.
He kept those relationships good. He, didn't try and, like, sink that company that he was just kicked out from, where I feel like most people would try and get some type of revenge, or they'd try and, do something vengeful.
Yeah.
And he didn't, and it allowed him to then stay close to those heavy hitters that came out of, the PayPal mafia.
Yeah, it was smart. And it's like that relationship paid him down the road.
Exactly.
It's like really important to know when and when not to burn a bridge. And it's good that, like, you burn the boats, don't burn the bridges, right?
Well, or to know when to do that.
Yeah.
There are times when you should burn the boats or the bridges.
Yeah. But we'll keep the boat alive, right? but yeah, so that's a situation which makes I think it was like a really pivotal moment in his whole trajectory, that whole PayPal area, because not only I think did it connect him with so many of technology's leaders today, it also put him in a place where he got a huge payout that allowed him
huge payout
that allowed him to start funding a lot of the things that we're seeing today.
And so, like, so the timeline was he got kicked out, and then was he reinstated back before they sold, or how does that timeline look? Because I do know he got paid from the PayPal sell.
Well, he was still a shareholder. He was the largest shareholder still.
He just wasn't an active employee.
I don't know if he was due to, like, if he was he completely ousted? Was he completely?
He wasn't completely because he had shares.
Well, I mean, in terms of like an operational standpoint.
Yeah, that's what I'm not sure about, because I do believe he got paid for it, and so I just don't know the actual minutia there.
Yeah, so he had 11.72% of the company at that time. He received $175 million, which in those dollars, which is the equivalent of $310 million.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money to start what he was starting right now. So it's weird. If he doesn't have Zip2, which was a good win.
Yep.
His dad was also was one of his later funders with a 10% round.
Yep.
But if he didn't have that and get a $300 million bankroll that he could invest and start SpaceX, go in, be an early investor in Tesla, then the whole arc looks very different.
Yeah, the entire timeline is completely altered.